Have you ever wondered how a single moment, a single decision, can change the world forever? How one gunshot could echo through a century, igniting a conflict that would claim millions of lives and redraw the map of the globe. Today, we're going to travel back in time to a sunlit street in Sarajevo on June 28, 1914. We're going to witness the moment that lit the fuse of the Great War, a war that would become known as World War I. This isn't just a story of politics and armies, it's a story of chance, of missed opportunities, and of a young man whose actions set the world ablaze. Imagine the scene. It's a beautiful summer day. The city of Sarajevo, then part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, is buzzing with excitement. Banners are flying, and crowds line the streets. They're all waiting to catch a glimpse of the heir to the throne, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, and his beloved wife, Sophie. For them, this was meant to be a day of celebration, a symbol of the empire's power and a personal anniversary for the couple. But hidden within that cheering crowd were several young men with a very different plan. They were nationalists, members of a group called the Black Hand, and they saw the Archduke not as a future leader, but as a symbol of oppression. Their goal was simple and terrifying: assassination. The morning started with failure. The royal motorcade began its procession along the Apple Quay. As it passed the first conspirator, he lost his nerve. The second, a man named Nedeljko Kabrinovic, was more determined. He threw a bomb at the Archduke's car, but in a twist of fate, the driver saw the object flying through the air and accelerated. The bomb bounced off the back of the car and exploded under the vehicle behind it, injuring several officers and bystanders. Chaos erupted. Kabrinovic swallowed a cyanide pill and jumped into the river, but the poison was old and only made him sick, and the river was only a few inches deep. He was quickly captured. The plot, it seemed, had failed spectacularly. Franz Ferdinand was shaken but unharmed. His first instinct was to check on the wounded. He insisted on going to the hospital to visit the officers injured by the bomb. This decision, born from a sense of duty, would prove fatal. The officials, flustered and eager to get the royal couple to safety, tried to argue, but the Archduke was firm. "That is all wrong," he reportedly said. "We must go and see the wounded." A new route was planned to avoid the city center, a route designed for safety. But in the confusion of the moment, a crucial detail was overlooked. Nobody told the drivers about the change of plans. The motorcade set off again, heading towards an unscheduled, and ultimately catastrophic, detour. And this is where our story focuses on one man, Gavrilo Princip. He was just 19 years old, one of the original assassins. After the bomb attack failed, he thought the opportunity was lost. Ejected, he wandered off the main street and decided to get a sandwich at a nearby delicatessen. He was standing there, perhaps contemplating the failure of his mission, when he looked up. In a moment of pure, unbelievable coincidence, the Archduke's car, having taken a wrong turn, was slowly reversing right in front of him. The driver, realizing his mistake, had stopped the car less than 10 feet from where Princip stood. For the young nationalist, it was a second chance delivered by fate. He didn't hesitate. Princip stepped forward from the curb, his heart pounding. He raised his pistol. The world seemed to slow down. He saw the Archduke and his wife in the open-top car, completely exposed. He fired 2 shots. The first struck Sophie in the abdomen. The second hit Franz Ferdinand in the neck, severing his jugular vein. For a moment, nobody seemed to realize what had happened. Sophie collapsed onto her husband's lap. The Archduke, still upright, reportedly turned to her and pleaded, "Sophie, Sophie, don't die. Live for our children." But it was too late. His own life was fading fast. An aide asked if he was in pain, and he managed to whisper it is nothing several times before he, too, lost consciousness. Within minutes, both the Archduke and his wife were dead. The immediate aftermath was pandemonium. Princip was seized by the crowd, beaten, and arrested. He, too, tried to take his own life but was stopped. The engine of the car had stalled, and there it sat, a metal coffin in the middle of the street, carrying the bodies of the couple whose deaths would become the casus belli, the justification for war. The news spread like wildfire across Europe. In Vienna, the reaction was a mixture of shock and, for some political hardliners, a grim sense of opportunity. They had been looking for an excuse to crush Serbian nationalism, and Gavrilo Princip had just handed it to them on a silver platter. What followed was a disastrous diplomatic domino effect. Austria-Hungary, backed by Germany, issued an ultimatum to Serbia. A list of demands so harsh they were impossible to accept fully. When Serbia refused to comply with every point, Austria-Hungary declared war on July 28, exactly 1 month after the assassination. This single declaration triggered a cascade of alliances that had been building for decades. Russia mobilized to protect its ally Serbia. Germany, seeing Russia's mobilization, declared war on Russia. Then, following its long-held military strategy, Germany invaded Belgium to attack France, bringing Great Britain into the war to defend Belgian neutrality. Within weeks, the great powers of Europe were locked in a brutal conflict. The single gunshot on a Sarajevo street had become the roar of cannons across a continent. The dreams of a quick, decisive war vanished in the mud and horror of the trenches. The conflict would last for long years, costing the lives of over 16 million soldiers and civilians. It would topple empires, birth new nations, and sow the seeds for another, even more devastating, world war just 2 decades later. Gavrilo Princip, the young man with the pistol, would never see the world he helped create. He died in prison from tuberculosis in 1918, just before the war's end. His act, intended to liberate his people, instead trapped the entire world in a cage of fire and steel. It's a chilling reminder that history doesn't just happen, it's made. Sometimes by grand plans, and sometimes by a young man, a wrong turn, and a single fateful gunshot. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the moments that shaped our world. Let me know in the comments what historical event you'd like to explore next. Until then, stay curious.